Okay, now in the previous session, we have learned that how you can create your automation test case in your SoapUI. So for that purpose, I'm just making a recap that after configuring your API visual in the project, you have created a test suite, that you have created a test case, and within the test case, actually you have created few steps. And basically in SoapUI, you have to learn that how you can utilize different type of steps, which you are able to see here. These steps you have to learn, not all, because the purpose of some test case, some steps to automate few other things. Okay, so here we are going to learn all the steps which are needed to automate the API part. Okay, so in the last session we have learned this thing, that whenever you have to store any properties, you can store in the properties step, like key value pair. In the create property transfer, what is the purpose of property transfer? You can transfer your property from one source to another source, and this is the main thing, that is SoapUI step. Any operation which you needed in your automation, that you can add here, and for that purpose you add step this one, so testing. Okay, so in the last flow you have seen that I have you can say shown you the validation part also. Like for example, you can see here I've shown you multiple instructions here, like xpath, xmath, something like that. Okay, so I've shown you this type of assertion. Now one more assertion I will show you, that is very, very important. And what is that assertion? Now the thing is that, what is that drawback? Okay, what I have written here. Okay. So it's from ID. Anybody can tell me why this assertion is failing now? Anybody? Okay, last time I also tell you about that, how you can create the path to access some property, like create student has response, something like that. Okay, so for the time being, let me delete this one. Okay, now we are going to learn one more assertion. Okay, anybody can tell me, in this assertion what you can check? You can check whether the exist age, you can check whether any field is exist, or you can check the data. Now tell me one thing, anybody have just think about that? It means if we have to validate four things, like existence of age, existence of name, existence of ID. If we want to make three validation, can we use XPath for that? Anybody have think about this? Yes or no? That if you have to make more than one validation, can we do in the same XPath assertion? No. Are you getting my point? We can't do. So in that case, one more assertion comes into the picture, that is called X query. In XPath, at a time you can make only one assertion. If you want to make multiple assertion, you have to use one more thing, that is called X query. So if you will see what is the use of X query, in X query you can write the expression and you can validate multiple things at one go. So how you can check it? Let me show you. So suppose, tell me one thing, Anku is going to tell me, Anku, I want to validate my age node exists. So what I can write it here? Anku?
Exist, and then that node,
Yes.
/ node.
Yes,
Yeah.
name. Okay, so we have to give the XPath of that. So in XPath assertion, we write this thing. Okay, so at one assertion, we can write it. Okay, XPath. So now the thing is that in the same assertion, I want to validate this thing also, that exists age. So this time I am trying to validate two things. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this thing is not possible in case of XPath assertion. XPath assertion actually at a time only validate one scenario. In case of X query, that's why it is called X query. X query means you can verify or you can make multiple assertions on your node, on your response using X query. How it is possible? There is a proper structure for that. And what is that structure? Let me show you. First of all, let me show you. Whenever I will try to use only one. Are you able to see it is giving you true? Yes or no? Because name exists in the node. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
But now you will see one thing. One special thing here. Why it is adding two XML tags? Okay, it should give true or false, like in case of XPath assertion. In XPath assertion, this gives true also or false. But why it is giving this two tag, XML, fragment XML? Anybody can tell me why this is giving? Okay, let me tell you. The thing is that in X query, the thing is that whenever it will evaluate any expression, it should give result in the form of XML. And in XML, it is mandatory that the data should be wrapped in a XML tag. Are you getting my point? तो यहाँ पे जो भी आपका data result आ रहा है, whatever you are able to see true, it is not giving only true. It is actually creating by default a tag for you. Are you getting my point? You can create your own tag also. If I will create a tag result, you will see it will give what is the output of this one. If I will give this one, what answer you got it? You got the answer, result tag in the response, but this expression is not evaluated. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now just see, you have to do one thing. Whenever you want to evaluate any expression in the query, just wrap in a curly braces. Just wrap in a curly braces. So when I wrapped in a curly braces, you got the answer true. Yes or no?
Pradeep, can you repeat again? Actually?
Yeah, I'm saying this thing that what happens that in the X query, the condition is that whatever expression you are writing here, the result of that expression, the expected result should be in the form of XML. And in the XML, it is mandatory that data should be wrapped in a tag. कोई भी XML के में tag के बिना कोई data होता नहीं है. Are you getting my point?
So it's my standard format like result, then field.
No,
then
it is
result.
not mandatory. It is not mandatory. That's why I'm saying that कि अगर देखो मैं इसको यहाँ से हटा भी देता, let me remove this part. मैं result यहाँ से हटा देता हूँ. If I'm removing the result, still in this case you will see one thing. Let me remove this part because I'm not using any expression first of all. Now tell me, you are getting the answer in the select from current. You are getting the true, yes or no?
Yes.
But you will see why it is adding, why it is showing the data true within the tag, because the expected result should always be in the form of XML. और XML में अगर एक भी value हो तो किसमें होनी चाहिए? That should be wrapped in a tag. So by default, it is creating a tag for you. That is called XML fragment. Is it okay?
Okay.
तो ये by default, आप कोई पसंद नहीं आ रहा है, you can write your own tag. कैसे लिखोगे आप अपना tag? If you want to give only on the basis of your need, on your choice, you can give the name of the you can say name of the node. Here I can, what I am trying to do is the exist name. Node name exist or not. So I can give the node name is name exist. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? आपको करना क्या है कि आपका जो भी रिजल्ट यहाँ आना चाहिए एक्सएमएल के फॉर्म में, तो अगर मैं केवल इतना रिजल्ट दूंगा तो इसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. इसको रिजल्ट चाहिए दैट शुड बी रैप्ड इन ए XML के फॉर्मेट में. So you will see I have already given in my expression that the evolution of this result should be wrapped in a is name exist tag. So this time you are getting the answer is name exist. So you can choose your own tag. अगर आप इसे नहीं चूज करते हो तो ये अपने आप दे देगा. Are you getting my point? See,
yes, Pradeep.
ठीक है. Second thing is that you can add multiple expression add करेंगे. Just see what will happen. I'm going to add a multiple second validation is age exists. I want to check it age exists. So in this case I will add this node and you will see it is giving the answer or giving the some error. It is giving invalid. Can anyone tell me why it is giving this error? कोई बताएगा इस XML में क्या कमी है?
We are validating name and
Yeah, tell me one by one.
and age. Here we need to validate both. We are validating both the same thing.
No, that is not a problem. If you will write the age, in that case also it will give the problem. Valid. The problem is not that you are because the thing is that if you are validating the age 2 times, it will validate. Oh, the problem is that now tell me if your XML contains multiple nodes, always there should be a one parent. Are you getting my point? XML का स्ट्रक्चर आप कभी भी देखो XML का स्ट्रक्चर क्या होता है. Let me show you. That is very important thing, and everybody of you should know this. सबको जानना चाहिए. Whenever you are able to see a structure of an you can say XML का स्ट्रक्चर क्या होता है? There will always be a parent. Yes or no? एक टैग होता है parent. Then it wrapped, it closed it. Getting my point? हमेशा
Yes.
कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा? पेरेंट से. एंड यू कैन टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ टेस्ट एनजी. आपने टेस्ट एनजी पढ़ा है कि नहीं? यस और नो? अगर आप टेस्ट एनजी में ध्यान से दो, so what was the topmost suit? Test suit. Yes or no? And your test suit was, first of all, test suit open tag and test suit close tag. Now, if you want to write any other tag, that will go within it. Yes or no?
Yes.
है ना? And what example is test? There was a test tag, test, and then you can close the tag. You will see always there is a condition if you want to make a multiple tags. जैसे मुझे यहाँ पे टेस्ट के देखो 2 टैग बनाने हैं. I can create multiple tags. You know that I can create. How? Test, and here I can say name equal to, आप लोग भूल रहे हो, module 1. Something like that, yes or no?
Yes.
And if I want to create a second test module, I can create in this way. Yes or no? Second tag. Now tell me, can I write these 2 tags without this parent tag? Because always there should be a single parent. Then in that tag, we can write any data. We cannot write this whole data, something like that. Always there should be a tag and every tag should be wrapped in it. Are you getting my point? हमारे पास क्या होना चाहिए? एक टैग होना चाहिए. अब यहाँ पे देखो दोनों टैग पड़े हैं, इनका कोई पेरेंट तो है नहीं क्योंकि दोनों क्या है? पैरेलल है. सो हमको स्ट्रक्चर क्या फॉलो करना है? स्ट्रक्चर हमें फॉलो करना होता है जहां पे हमारे पास क्या होना चाहिए? एक टैग होना चाहिए. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? सो यहाँ पे कितने टैग दिख रहे हैं आपको? यू आर एबल टू सी 2 टैग्स, लेकिन ये दोनों टैग का कोई पेरेंट तो बनाया ही नहीं है. सो हाउ यू कैन मेक ए पेरेंट? आप अपने मन से एक पेरेंट बना दो. कैसे? राइट टैग एंड से रिजल्ट. कुछ भी लिख सकते हो. इट डजंट मीन रिजल्ट. आपको कोई भी एक टैग बनाना है सो दैट यू कैन रैप द होल एक्सप्रेशन विद इन द वन टैग. Now you will see, you will get the answer. चलिए ध्यान से देखिए. Are you getting the proper answer in the XML format? Yes or no? One parent tag result, and then the result of is name exists. So only the thing is that I know that you are not getting the properly. Only the thing is that you have to write your expression that result should be in a proper XML format. ठीक है? अब देखो, अगर यहाँ पे केवल एक एक्सप्रेशन होता तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी. क्यों? In the XML, if you have only one node, so that node is parent as well as child. जब एक ही नोड है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. Yes or no? But whenever you are trying to write 2 nodes, it actually needs a parent. तो मैंने रिजल्ट ऐड कर दिया. आप यहाँ पे कुछ भी ऐड कर सकते थे, शाहरुख खान, सलमान खान, कुछ भी, बट आई हैव मेड इट मीनिंगफुल. है ना? देखो मैंने सलमान ऐड कर देता हूँ, सलमान. बट आई हैव ट्राई टू मेड इट मीनिंगफुल. क्या मीनिंगफुल रखा? रिजल्ट एंड रिजल्ट. आर यू एबल टू सी? यस और नो?
Yes.
So always, yeah, tell me. Yeah, who is asking? Okay, so in this way you can validate multiple things. Now you want to validate the age value. So what expression you can write? Simply add one more expression, and here you can say age value. You can write anything. Whatever you are writing the starting tag, same you have to give here. It doesn't mean whatever you are giving the name of your tag. Okay, tag name is not, you can say, mandatory. Now just think about that. यहाँ पे exist नहीं check करना. We want to get the value. So what we will do in this case here, instead of exist, you have to use a function that is called data. Now tell me, are you able to see the value of age from the current 29? This you can see, yes or no? Are you able to see, yes or no?
Yes.
I am not able to hear the proper confidence. You can ask me. चले कौन बताएगा किसको प्रॉब्लम आ रही है? Who is going to tell me? Rashmi, you want to tell? Rashmi, Niveda, whoever want to tell, you can tell me.
Pradeep, like I have one doubt. So you have tag name, right? The self and its name exists. So if all the tag names has to be unique, or we can use the same tag names also?
No. Very good question. Clapping for you. Actually, in the XML, this is the main thing, that in XML, tag names are always unique. Getting my point? Tag name is always unique. Okay? Okay. So, and the second thing is that we have to make it meaningful. We have to make it meaningful. आप इसका नाम कुछ भी रख सकते थे. I have given is name exists. आप नाम रखते name exists. But the thing is that you have to follow the structure of XML. कि जब whenever this expression is evaluated, it should give the answer in the form of XML. अब देखो, अगर मैं यहाँ से result हटा दूं, तो इसका XML बिगड़ जाएगा. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
तो आपको जो भी डेटा वैलिडेट करना है उसका XML नहीं छेड़ना है. And now you can see, अगर मैं केवल एक, if I want to validate only one thing, तो आप मुझे बताओ इसमें क्या कोई और टैग लगाने की जरूरत है? I have only one tag, so this is parent tag और इसमें एक वैल्यू है. When you have multiple tags, then your hierarchy should start with parent. Getting my point?
Yes.
तो यहाँ पे एक के साथ. So this is called your X query. X query में आप दोनों काम कर सकते हैं. You can validate multiple nodes. You can validate multiple values of the node. Is it okay? And so this is all about the assertion. So one assertion I will show you more. That is not so much useful because that is related to the performance testing, and that is called SLA. So what is the purpose of this assertion? I will tell you. You will see whenever you are running your query, you will see every time the response time is different. Are you able to see this place? Everybody is able to see this place? Response time 588 millisecond.
Yes.
Whenever I will try to run this query, I am trying to run query get student by ID. Every time you will see it is giving the same response, but the time will be different. In this case, it returned the time within 18 millisecond. Next time 12, 67. So you are able to see that every time you are running, your response time is varying. Yes or no?
Yes.
So actually, it is related to the performance that sometime when I am trying to hit, it is giving it. You can say it is time taken by the server to give the responses varying from one request to another. So from the performance perspective, you want to make a validation that in any case, my response time should not be greater than this one. You can add this assertion कि मेरा कोई भी assertion जो time हो वो इससे ज्यादा तो नहीं लगना चाहिए चाहे कितना भी time ले. For example, I will take the example of, you can say 20 milliseconds. So what I have defined here, that in my validation, the maximum time I am allowing for my performance, that is 20. अगर ये इससे ज्यादा लगेगा तो इसको fail कर देगा. You will see here. This time it passed. Yes or no? Because time taken is 40. Next time I run. This time is fail because time taken is 36 milliseconds. So this is a validation which is actually on your performance part. Is it okay? So I have told you so that in the interview, somebody asks you, you can add one more assertion in your interview list. Otherwise, this is totally related to the performance. Is it okay? Okay. So now come to next point. In the assertion, what we have to learn, we can validate the things with the help of database also. I told you in the last session that we can do it. So in the get student ID, you can see here, few assertion I have added here, like you can say XPath match, or you can say we have added some assertion to okay, this you can take the example of this one. I have added an assertion that where we are verifying the data from the properties. Yes or no? Yes or no? So I'm verifying that
Yes.
whenever it will return the response, my age in the response should be same as we have used in the test data in the properties step. Yes or no? Arey bhai, you are not getting the point. You guys are not getting.
No, Pradeep.
Okay, this is the previous session. I'm 100% sure it means you have not revised because this is from the previous session. In the previous session, okay, tell me. In the previous session, why I told you what is the use of XPath assertion? I told you this thing in detail. That how you can
Yes.
write this step to
Yes.
age. Yes or no?
Yes.
हाँ तो रिवाइज करना चाहिए ना. That is the main thing. रिवाइज नहीं करोगे तो ऐसे दिक्कत आएगी. चलिए, let me tell you again. This is the age expression, and last time I told you it is the XPath assertion where you want to validate the value of age. So here you are saying //age, and here you can put any hard-coded value to validate. But I told you that you can validate the value from properties step. Yes or no? Because you are using the same data for creation from the properties. Yes or no? This one.
Yes.
Now I told you this thing also that you can validate this thing from your database also. आप database में भी तो check कर सकते हो ना कि जब इस ID का response आपकी database में query से आए. When you are firing a query in your database that select star from the student table where ID equal to 2938. So it will also return the age. Yes or no? तो आप उससे भी validate कर सकते हो. Yes or no?
Yes, correct.
So same thing I can do in my automation with the help of automation. कैसे करेंगे? Just see here. Right click here and you can actually create a step that is called JDBC. And what is the benefit of JDBC step? You can connect with your database and you have to only give the credential. चलिए देते हैं कैसे करेंगे. Let me show you. In this case also, the left side part is called JDBC request and right side part is called JDBC response. So first of all, select from the connection. Click on connection. Create new. Here you have to give any name of your connection. कोई भी आप database का नाम जो देना चाहो, you can give it here. So I'm giving the name of the connection. You can see Pradeep DB. Anything you can give. Okay, just for remind that you have created a connection. Now it is asking which type of driver you want to use. Now tell me, driver किस पे depend करता है? Driver totally depends on type of your database. So which database we are using? Tell me. MySQL.
MySQL.
So we select this driver MySQL. First thing, automatically it has given you the host, and this is called the local host. Localhost IP is actually 127.0.0.1. So by default, port is there. Only you have to give two credentials, username and password. What is the username? Root. And what is the password? Tell me. Pradeep. I have given, in your case, if you have given something different, you can give. And what was the name of my database? Pradeep. Now you can click on test connection. Connection is succeed. Click on OK and click on OK. So it will make a connection. It is saying that connection has changed build query. So you can say no. But if you will say yes, what will happen? Just see. It will open the UI and you can create the query from here. You can see. यहाँ से सारी field दिख रही है आपको? Yes or no? यहाँ पे are you able to see student table? Yes or no? So I will give you that this option is only available in the paid version. This option is only available in the paid version. You will able to see it will trying to create a query for you from here, right? But I will advise don't use this thing. Don't use this thing. Reason is that query is the main weapon of a tester. You agree? Yes or no? एक टेस्टर के लिए SQL query उसका मेन वेपन है. अगर आपको SQL query नहीं आती है, trust me, you can't survive in the testing. क्योंकि most of the time they provide you the access of database with the access of select query. तो आपको अगर query नहीं आती, that's why in the every testing interview you can see my video related to that how to prepare for the interview. Always they ask the SQL. Everybody agree on this? Yes or no? तो आपको क्या करना चाहिए? आपको wizard नहीं use करना है. You can write the query by your own. ठीक है? तो आप query खुद भी लिख सकते हो. Select star from student. This is the query. Is it okay? Where ID equal to, you can take the example ID 2938 and run it. Just see you are getting the response right side or not. You are getting the response right side, yes or no?
Yeah.
Now this is the individual step you got it. That you can configure the database, any query you can write it here and you will get the response here. Now only the thing is that in your validation, first thing you have to do, which ID you have to use? You have to use a hard-coded ID or you have to use the ID which is generated in the response of create student. Tell me. अगर मुझे run time पे ID चाहिए तो run time पे ID कहाँ बन रही है? In the response of create student. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो आप यहाँ पे कैसे कर सकते हो? How you can get the ID run time? आपको मैंने बताया था that the way of writing the XPath. आप यहाँ पे लिखो right click, get data you can create by your own. Create student, response, and this. Okay, response because the sample response is not there, so that's why it is giving some problem. You can do one thing. Actually, when it run, it try to get some response from that. So manually at the time of editing, you can add one. Okay. So now it will try to get some data from here. Now just go. You can see it is creating the data, but let me create again in front of you. Right click, get data, create a student, response, and click on ID. So automatically it will create a path for you. ये path बना दिया इसने, yes or no? You want to see separately, just see in the notepad. यही path बनाना आपको मैंने बताया था ना? Oh sorry. Yes or no? यही path बताया था आपको? आपको मैंने ये भी बताया था. You don't need this part declaration. You can skip this part. आप इस part को skip कर सकते हो. ये देखो. Only the thing is, and you can skip this part because only one ID is there. Is it okay? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes,
अब
yes.
आपको क्या करना है? You have created a query. This query you created that will take the ID runtime from the response of create student and it will fetch the data. So what is the benefit here? If I will paste this query here, now you will see it will get the data from the ID from the previous response and then fire the query and you will get the response. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now tell me, in the response, it will in the response of JDBC step. Where is the response step of JDBC? This one. And where you want to get the ID or you want to validate the age? Yes or no? आपको ये एज ही तो निकाल जो डेटाबेस से देनी है इससे वैलिडेट करना है. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो आप कैसे कर सकते हो? Simply you can do one thing. Same thing here. Just see. आपको इसका you have to give the path of this one and you can do how? Simply see here in the get student by ID. Open your validate age value and here you give the path of instead of create student property you can give the age from response of JDBC. तो देखो कैसे आसान है. राइट क्लिक सेम काम करना है आपको. गेट डेटा JDBC this time from the response as XML and click on that. You need age. Click करो. बन गया इसका path. Yes or no?
Yes.
So these same path you can also create by your own. That's why I'm telling you that I am working on the paid version, but I'm telling you that you can work on the free version. आप मुझे बताओ. In the JDBC step, this is known JDBC request step. This is the same. Yes or no? The name of step. Yes or no?
Yes.
And after that, I told you that your JDBC part is also divided into parts, request as XML and response as XML. This time it is not simply called response and response, request and response. It's called request as XML and response. So if it is the name of response, you have given response as XML. Then you write hash. And now simply you have to write age. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now your work is done. So you can write this XPath also and use in your query. Now you will see, I will run this thing and just see it is validating the thing or not. Save. Now you'll see, I'm again going to run the whole test case and you will see it is validating the from the JDBC or not. So let me run this whole test case. Run this. Dun, dun, dun. Now you will see it is passing and you want to check, just go and check the get student ID part. Just go you can check the assertions also. Are you able to see that it is validating the assertion? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा है. चलिए आपको एक चीज और करके दिखाता हूं. मैंने कहा ना when your validation is passing you will not able to see that whether it is validating or not. आप इसे कुछ गड़बड़ करके दिखा दो. कैसे दिखा दो गड़बड़ करके? यहाँ पे you can see here instead of age you can write something different. क्या लिख दो? एज की जगह लिख देता हूं मैं नेम. अब तो गड़बड़ आएगा. और लेट मी राइट आईडी. नेम की जगह आईडी लिखते हैं. नाउ सी व्हाट इज द रेस्पॉन्स. चलिए it is failing. So let me run it again. Are you able to see? Now tell me, यहाँ पे it is telling you that what is actually expected. Yes or no?
Yes.
It is telling expecting 2941 because क्यों expect कर रहा है? मैंने आपकी JDBC में जो path लिखा है I replaced age with ID. And actually, तो ये आपको गलत मेरे को दिखाने का यही एक तरीका है. I have only the single way to show you. Reason is that if everything is passed, you will not able to see whether it is actually validating or not. तो मैंने I have done this thing. Otherwise, what you have to do in your validation, you have to write here age. Getting my point?
Yeah.
So with the help of this validation JDBC request, you can validate anything and you cannot write a single query. You can write whatever query you want to write. Select a star from name, age. You are interested only returning only the ID. Simple, right? Select ID and just see it is giving the response or not. Yes, it is giving. Yes or no? So आपका interest जिसमें on the basis of that you will write the query and run time it will return the response and you can validate. Anybody have any doubt? You have to make a practice for that. It is totally tool based. Okay. Now come to the next part. We have learned test request. We have learned JDBC, learned properties, property transfer. Now I will show you the very important thing that is called conditional goto. I will come to the data source part also. But before that, let me come to the conditional goto. Anybody can tell me what can be the use of conditional goto? कोई बताएगा?
Move to other statements.
Exactly. Clapping for you. Clapping for you. Actually, what happens, you will see whenever I'm trying to run my test case, it is actually following a proper flow. पहले step 1, then 2, जिस flow में लिखा है, ये पहले लिखा है, I've written this step properties, then it's coming to the transfer, then create student, then this one. So it is starting from the 1 and then going to the last in the same order. In any reason, if you want to break the flow, we want to take our control from one step to another step. It may be in the, you can say in the forward direction as well in the backward direction. तो मेरा पर्पस क्या है कि अगर किसी एक स्टेप से अगर मैं अपने कंट्रोल को मेरा कोई I have need that from this step create student, I want to jump my control from create student directly to the get student by ID. मैं इनको execute नहीं करना चाहता हूँ. So in that case, I have to add a conditional goto. If I want to take my control from create student again to the property transfer in the previous direction, okay, I can do with the help of conditional goto. So I will show you this thing. Let me insert one thing. Insert conditional goto. And in the conditional goto, what you will write? Definitely you are going to write any condition. So condition कैसे करेंगे? You can write multiple conditions. First condition is that I'm adding one condition. So condition is that exist. Suppose I'm taking the example of exist ID. Oh, sorry. Okay, so in the condition is that it means in the create student step, if the ID exists, by default conditional goto works on the previous response. By default conditional goto क्या करता है, जो उसके पहले previous response होता है ना, by default it applies the condition. So this condition will be applied on the response of create student. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? Now in this condition, are you able to see the step target step? Anybody can tell me what is the use of target step? क्या होगा target step का use? If the condition is true, you can tell where the control should go in your flow. देखो, so I will take the example. मैं क्या लेता हूँ? Get student ID. I'm just skipping the few steps. ठीक है? So I am directly going to the get student by ID step. Let me do this thing. अब देखो अब क्या होगा? Then I am running. Let me close it and run it. Are you able to see? Are you able to see that it goes to 1 here, then here, then here, then create a student, then conditional goto. In the conditional goto, we have something wrong. It execute all the steps. Let me conditional goto expression is right or exist. Exist. Let me write. Let me run this thing. It is going to the get student by ID. So why it is going to the JDBC request? It should not go to the JDBC request. Conditional trigger to go to. It is telling you the right thing. Let me check why it is not saved here. Something like that. Let me do one thing. Let me clear the logs. Okay. I'm able to see that logs over. No, logs is here. Are you able to see create a student step, then 2 step, then 3, then conditional. After conditional go to where the control is going? Where the control is going from control? Conditional go to the
Get student one.
Okay, so actually I just forget. I was just looking the logs above. These are the steps and this is the log. तो आप देखो step 4 के बाद step क्या run होना चाहिए? It should run the get property transfer, then JDBC request, but it ran the get stride because condition is true. Getting my point?
Why the 5th step got failed? Get student by ID.
Yeah, because it is failed. Reason is that when you skip, just think about logically, you have give a condition that in the conditional go to your control should go to the get student by ID. लेकिन get student ID में आपने क्या लिखा है? You are actually trying to get some value which is possible using get student by ID by property transfer. जब यही नहीं चला तो fail हो जाए. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, Pradeep.
in your actual flow, when this step is skipped, so it is creating a problem. You want to check more thing, you can do one thing. अगर आपको लगता है it is failing due to that reason, so I can make the condition something different. मैं एक काम करता हूँ, in the conditional goto, I am just making a fake step, groovy step 1. I'm just making a fake step. Then I'm making again a fake step. एक fake step बनाता हूँ ताकि आपको test case दिखाई दे that it is working fine. So are you able to see that 2 steps are there after conditional goto? Step 1 is there and step 2 is there. Yes or no?
Yes.
In this conditional goto, I'm going to write a condition that when the condition is true, your control should go to the step 2. So it will skip the step groovy script 1 and your test case will run because आपका यहाँ control तो जाएगा 2 पे, फिर it will go to here, then here, then here. Let me run this thing. Now tell me. अच्छा ये XPath assertion क्यों fail हो रहा है? Let me check. XPath assertion is failing some other reason. क्यों हो रहा है? Let me check. XPath complete failed to path this one, expecting this actual. Let me see. Okay. In the response, this you can say, I have just changed the query. मैंने age validate किया. Anybody can tell me why I'm getting the error? I have validated the age from the JDBC step. Yes or no? अरे yes or no तो बोलो.
Yes.
और JDBC स्टेप में आप चेक करो क्या JDBC स्टेप में समय आ रहा है, रिजल्ट में ये जा रहा है? No, because we have changed the query. It should be star. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
तभी तो सब कुछ आएगा. आपको समझाने के लिए मैंने ये कर दिया और that's why it is giving the problem. Now let me run it. So everything is connected logically. Now let me run it. Now running fine.
Yes.
But still you can see groovy script 1 is skipped. Groovy script 1 is printing in the flow. No, because condition is true, though this script is skipped. Yes or no?
Yeah.
And you can also skip script 2 also. आप चाहो तो you can directly go to the get student by ID by property transfer. Now you're both the step script 1 and groovy script 2 both will be skipped. Yes or no? So you got the understanding what is the purpose of conditional goto. You can skip your step. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Now let me go to the next. I will show you in the conditional goto we have learned. Now the thing is that we have to learn this run test case. And trust me, it is very, very worst step. We don't need it, but I will tell you what is the purpose of that. Suppose take the example, you have 2 test cases. One is create and verify student. And you have another test case, suppose validate get student by ID. You can take the example. Okay. So the thing is that, suppose take the example. From one test case, you want to run another test case. What I want to say, you have this one test case and this is another test case. Suppose take the example, when you will run the whole suite, when you run the complete whole suite, both the test case will run. You can see here. 2 test cases are running. Yes or no? Create student and validate. Yes or no? Now the thing is that suppose you are a that is again I'm saying that is not a good example and that is not a good option. Anytime if you want to run one test case from the within the another test case, you can do it. How it is possible? Within the test step, you can add a step run test case, and you have option that in this step you actually give the any other test case in your project. So आपने देखो क्या किया, target test case में validate get by student by ID and target test suite is this one. Click on OK. आप देखो I will only run create and verify student, but it will run the validate get student by ID also. कैसे? ये इस step से क्या करता है, दूसरे test case को call करता है. Is it okay? Why I'm telling you this is a very, very bad thing? Because एक test case से दूसरे test case को call करने का, do you think that it makes sense? If you want to run another test case, you can run the whole test suite. Yes or no? तो एक test suite से दूसरे test suite को run करने का क्या purpose है? That is not a good one. ठीक है? बिल्कुल शांति छा जाती है बिल्कुल. Anybody is not getting, you can tell me. You got the purpose of a step? Yes or no? Purpose pata chala?
I think we can do
Yes.
backward also. Like
Sorry?
from the run test, we can add below. Like I am saying, we can do backward also.
Yes,
Run
we can
test.
do. Yes, we can do at any point. Yeah, we can backward also. For example, instead of using this test step, due to some reason, maybe you want to run from this test case, you want to run the create and verify. You can do how? You can simply add a step here. Add a step, run test case, and this time give the reference of the first one. So now you can see, if you want to run this test case, you can run this test case automatically. It will run the first one. Yes or no?
Yes.
So the only you can say, I don't know how much it is useful, but the only purpose is that within the one test case, you can run any other.
Another.
So that's why I don't find it very, very useful, because if you want to achieve this, why don't you run two test cases, one go using test suite? Okay. Okay. Next step is that assertion step. So this step is also, you can say it, they have provided this step in a paid version. This step is only available in the paid version. Otherwise, in the free version, it is not defined. And trust me, again, it is not so much useful. They have just shown this option so that they can charge some good amount from the licensed persons. उनको बताएं कि देखो मैंने step ऐड. Otherwise, this assertion is not so much useful. ये वही assertion है that you are able to see in your step. Whenever you have to add any assertion, tell me if you want to add any assertion in the get student by ID step. Are you getting my point? You want to add any assertion in this step. You can add assertion here also. Yes or no? यहीं पे कर सकते हो?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But they have given you same thing in another way. It is something like that. वो बोलते हैं ना market में किसी को बेवकूफ बनाने का तरीका. You can see I will click on this window, so it will only open an extra window for you. ये step add किया, that click on that. It will open this that you want to add a assertion. Click on plus. When I click on plus, just see what will happen. It is opening the same assertion window for you. Yes or no?
Yes.
आप यहाँ पे assertion add करने के लिए window खोल रहे हो. देखो ये. और यहाँ पे just go in the assertion step. It will open the same assertion. Only the difference is that in your case, assertion is actually attached in the request and response part. Here you can say same window is there. Yes or no?
Yes.
Only the difference is that here the assertion step is attached in the student get student by ID, and that is meaningful. जहाँ पे request और response होगा वहीं पे आप validate करोगे. In the step where you are getting the request and response, in that step you are going to validate. Yes or no? So they have attached. That is good thing. So why you are providing another step here? Only you are just making a extra step plus. Then you are choosing source. अब देखो, you are adding one extra step. So you will tell ना in which step you want to add assertion. Yes or no? तो यहाँ पे आपको choose करना पड़ेगा. Get student by ID. Then in the response, yes or no?
Yes.
So actually these two things already available as a step. So directly go and make assertion there. So that's why I'm saying that it is not so much useful, but they charge a good amount from the person that I'm providing you a feature. Okay. So if you want to use it, you can use it. Now, next is delay. So delay is again, the thing is that delay is very, very simple. What is the purpose of delay? It is something like that. Between two steps, you want to make a gap. You want to make some time to execute. Suppose take the example. You want to run create a student and create a student step. So you can take the example. It is a very heavy request. So when you send the request, it will hit the request and get the response. So this step is taking some time. So you can add some delay after this step. How it is possible? Add a delay step and you can give any name. Click on OK. So by default, how much delay it is added? 1000 milliseconds. This is in the millisecond. You want to modify, you can make 2000, 3000. So it is something like that, the delay between two steps. So it is very simple. So it kya karega? When it will run this step, after that, it will wait for 2000 milliseconds. Is it okay? Is it okay? It is.
Yes.
ये तो बहुत simple assertion है. Okay, now come to the other. So here one step is left, that is manual. I'm not going to tell you because that is not so much important. Okay, that is manual. In the automation, why you are trying to understand a manual step. Okay, now let me cover the most important, and this is called data source. And here I want to tell you one thing. This data source is only available in the paid version. Okay, in the free version it is not available. So if you want to use this feature, you have to use the paid version, and in the paid version you have to use only the pro version. You don't need to go with the ready API. Now I will show you what is the use of this stuff. Somebody asked in the beginning of the session, but Pradeep, I want to run my test case with multiple set of data. Yes or no? Everybody asked this question. I want to run my test case with multiple set of data. So I will give the example here. Let me delete this step. I'm going to add a step here. Add test step, get student by ID. Okay, this step. So let me choose get student by ID. Okay, click on this one and click on. So in this, if I'm going to run it manually, I can provide only one day ID. Yes or no? Like 6 and 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
So another option is that you told me we can do one thing. What we can do? We can do one thing, that we can create a test data like properties file. But in the properties file, how many test data we can store? Only one. Yes or no? So how we can run a test case with multiple set of data? So what is the first requirement? First requirement is that you should have the Excel. Yes or no? Excel होनी चाहिए ना?
Yes.
तो चलिए पहले Excel के पास जाते हैं. Let me go to the your D drive deep data. I've used the same Excel at the time of Selenium. मैंने आपको दिखाया था. Here I can use any. तो यहाँ पे you will see I have this Excel. It contains some ID. Yes or no? देखो ये ID है ना? So I want to use this ID from this Excel. जितनी भी ID इसमें रखी हैं, I want to use this ID to get my response. Is it okay? Say yes or no.
Yes.
So कैसे read करेंगे? How we can read the data in the SoapUI? So let me do one thing. Go to your SoapUI, and in this case you have to add a step that is called data source. In the data source step, you will click on OK, and you will choose option from the data source that is called from where you want to pull the data. So I'm taking the option of Excel. When you click on Excel, you are able to get a few options to fill the path of the Excel. So you can do one thing. You can choose the file here, browse. And browse kar lo. Yeah, and go to the, where is the Excel? D, in the D, Pradeep data, where is Pradeep data? And the name of the Excel was API test data?
Yes.
API test data. So select your file, API test data, and click on this one, open. So now it has take the path. So it is ready to read the data from this file. Achha, what is the benefit of this option? You don't need to write a code. Achha, आपने क्या किया था? Selenium में इसके लिए code ही तो लिखा था, है ना? Yes or no? But here you don't need to write a code. So here you give the path of the Excel. Excel का path मिल गया. And in the Selenium, I told you, Excel contains multiple set of data. You can take the example. यहाँ पे I have one sheet test data. Another sheet is add student data. तो कहाँ से आपको data read करना है? You have to tell the name of sheet. Yes or no? And where you will get that option? In the sheet. Is it okay? Here you will give the path of the file. Here you will give the name of the sheet. जहाँ से आपको data from the sheet where you want to pull the data.